protagonist goes for a goal and gets there without a challenge, that's a pretty boring story. What you want to do is introduce as much conflict as possible into the story. So as your hero and the hero's allies move towards the goal, the opponents are going to block them. I like to look at this like a pinball machine. So inside a pinball machine, you have the pinball that is moving in one direction and then knocks into something and gets blown another way. So the pinball may be going straight, but typically not for long. It hits into something. In our case, this would be an opponent blocking the hero's path towards the goal and knocks the hero another way. So the way that the hero is knocked could be backwards, for instance, a really devastating blow delivered by a villain, or forward, but in a sideways sort of fashion. So a zigzag pattern would be the best way to kind of describe that, where the hero is moving towards the goal, but got knocked a different direction, and the initial path that the hero was taking didn't quite work out. So this strategy of pinballing is very helpful when you think about the shape of your hero pursuing the goal. A straight line without bumping into anything is bad. Let's say we've got a sports story where the hero is a boxer who's training for a really big fight. The main villain would be the opposing boxer. So during a press conference, the opposing boxer says something that psychologically presses on a certain insecurity that the hero has. The hero would then be messed up by this mentally and possibly take it out on his trainer. The trainer, who was an ally, now becomes an opponent because the boxer and the trainer start fighting. The trainer gets to a point where he goes, you know what, you're on your own, I can't do this anymore. And now the hero doesn't have a trainer. Because the hero doesn't have a trainer, he keeps training, doing the same sort of routines that he was doing, but doesn't have the guidance of the ally trainer figure and winds up getting hurt. So the hero now lost a trainer and is hurt leading up to the fight, all because the opponent just said something in a press conference that mentally blocked the hero from continuing on his training regimen that was working. So that's an example of a pinballing type shape. In pinball, wherever the ball ends up depends on where it was just before. The same sort of cause and effect flow of events should be in your story. So for instance, let's say we have that boxing hero who's going towards the goal of winning a match. If, for instance, there was a scene where the boxer was walking to a coffee shop and just happened to get hit by a car out of nowhere, yeah, that would cause conflict. It would prevent the boxer from doing his best in the fight, but it wouldn't be organic to the story that was unfolding. The car would not be one of the villains that was organic to the story. It would really just be out of nowhere, and that sort of feels unnatural. Where conflict that builds in a cause and effect way works much better. So in the example we just went over, the hero is psyched out by the villain. That then causes the hero to get into a fight with the trainer. The trainer leaving then causes the hero to get hurt because he's training by himself. So that sort of flow is what you want. Every event leads to another event. You don't just randomly create conflict out of nowhere by having a car nail somebody on the way to a coffee shop. as the hero gets pinballed around, you want their problems to get worse. This is known as raising the stakes. By stakes, I'm talking about what's at stake if the hero fails to accomplish the goal. Let's look at a detective story for an example. In the beginning, the detective is simply looking to find out who committed a murder. So what's at stake is the killer being free or going to jail. Through the story, as the detective runs into roadblocks and gets pinballed around, the killer is going to find out the detective is after him and may target him directly. Not just him, but possibly his family. So in the beginning, what was at stake was just the killer going to jail or being free. But through the story, a lot more becomes at stake.